Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraः Sthirairangai Stushtovagumsastanobhi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti nः Pusha Vishwavedaः Swasti nastarksho Arishkanemiः Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mundakopanishad begins with the mention of the lineage, the Guru Shishya Parampara, the origin of this knowledge, and how it has been passed down through this parampara. The glory, the greatness of this knowledge, that it is the very foundation of all knowledge. And what is the best qualified student, or who is the best qualified student who will benefit out of this knowledge the most. In this parampara itself, starting from Brahmaji, it came down to Angi to Satyavaha Bharadwaja, and from Bharadwaja to Angirasa. Once the Upanishad begins with stating that a great prosperous householder by the name Saunaka, the son of Shunaka, he approached this Angirasa, and how did he approach? He approached as per the scriptural injunctions, as guided by the scriptures. He approached and papracha, he asked. So here it is just said, he approached the Guru with humility, available to be instructed, and he asked. But this asking would have been preceded by some time of
staying there, following some disciplines, and also serving the Guru, all these things which are mentioned explicitly in other Upanishads. Here, that is not vidhivat upasannaha, that is enough. That as per guidance of the scriptures. So, yatha shastram. So, as per the scriptures, he went, so all these things are included. Because there has to be some period where we follow certain disciplines, stay with the master, and also serve him so as to render ourselves receptive to this great knowledge. And then, when the Guru feels that, okay, we are ready, then he says, okay, what question do you have? Ask. Then we ask. So, here, papracha, he asked. Now, this speciality of this Shishyas of Upanishad, which is very unique, it is not seen in popular scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, that here the Shishya, the disciple himself, is very clear what he wants to know. And he himself has some basic knowledge based on which this question is raised. Now, what is this question? Very beautiful question. He says, we'll read the third mantra once again. Please repeat. Saunako havai mahashalah angirasam vidivadupasannaf papracha vidivadupasannaf papracha kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. He asks, bhavati iti. He asks, kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. Bhagavaha, O Bhagavan, O Lord, the way one addresses the Guru, we find this even in the various verses of Vivek Chudamani. The way the Shishya addresses the Guru and the Guru addresses the Shishya is so beautiful. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji has shown that in Vivek Chudamani. And this is all from the Upanishads only. So here the student is addressing the teacher as Bhagavaha, O Lord. In another Upanishad, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, which is also a very popular Upanishad, the last mantra states that one who is devoted to the Lord and the same kind of devotion he has towards the Guru, only that person will be able to realize the self, who will only have the benefit of this knowledge. So, not seeing any difference, any distinction between the Lord and the Guru. The Guru is the Lord who has come in this form to enlighten me is the Guru. So in that, it is not just kind of a veneration, not just that. It is much deeper than that. So, Hey Bhagavaha, O Lord, when we call or address somebody as Lord, what does it mean? That I'll follow whatever you say. That understanding is there, that surrender is there. So, O Lord, kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte, kasmin vijñāte, here kasminnu word, actually by itself it doesn't have any meaning, but in this context, Shankaracharya ji explains that nu means he has a doubt. Achha, what is a doubt? That knowing what is it? Having known which? Kasminnu vijñāte. What is that knowing which? Sarvam idam vijñātam bhavati. All this is known. What is it? Knowing which all this becomes known. Now, what is the question of the student? What is that knowing which all this becomes known? Sarvam idam vijñātam bhavati. Okay. So now, if we have to first understand this question, Saunaka as a student already has that information that there is something knowing which everything can be known. So he already has this information. Based on what? It could be based on he has heard in some satsang, or he has heard some conversation, or he has heard of some conversation where some great Mahatma has spoken and said, there is something, you should know that, knowing which everything is known. And this type of question is there in other Upanishads also. So maybe he has heard something else. So he has heard from some knowledgeable person that there is something like this. That is one possibility. Second possibility could be that he himself is wise enough to observe the world, and he finds that there are so many varieties of the same thing, knowing which all the varieties or the manifestations become known. So he himself has observed. For example, if I know clay, I know all the pots that are made out of clay. If I know gold, I know all the ornaments made out of gold. If I know water, I know all the oceans rising in the, all the waves rising in the ocean. So when I know something, everything of that gets known. He himself may have noticed out of his own experience. So it could be what he has heard from somewhere, or it could be something from his observation. Means the fit student here, who is Saunaka, the student of the Upanishad, has this quality of keen observation, reflection upon his experiences, and also intent listening. So all these things have come because he already knows there is something knowing which everything can be known. So there is also sometimes a doubt that no, maybe he does not know. He is asking. So he is asking maybe that is there something knowing which everything can be known? Maybe that is what is the intent of the question. Is there something? If we say, is there something that is that knowing which everything can be known, which means I am inquiring, is there a possibility that knowing just one thing I can know everything? And if that possibility is inquired, then it need not necessarily be from a person who is hardworking. Bhagavan Shankaracharya explains, it could mean that somebody is scared of putting in effort to know so many things, so is looking for a shortcut and says, okay, give me, is there any formula? Is there any one master key? I should know one thing, only this much I'll put in effort and I should know everything. Is there something like that? People, it might be interpreted like that, but it is not the right way of interpretation. That is also pointed out. So what is the right way of interpretation? He has an idea that there is something, he has heard somewhere, he has noticed these things, but he has only noticed that if I know gold, I can know only gold ornaments, not even silver ornaments. For knowing all silver ornaments, I should know silver. For knowing all waves, I should know water. For knowing all pots, I should know clay. But is there something knowing which I will know all pots, all ornaments, all waves, and everything else in this world? Is there something? Because when we experiment with one sample, then to extend it to all the entire universe, I need to know that is there such a principle knowing which everything can be known? There must be something. So please, I want to know that. I don't want to know anything else. In the modern science also, Einstein's words, what did he say? I but want to know what is in the mind of God. Rest all is mere details. He said, I just want to know the mind of God. Once I know that, rest all is mere details. Now, the modern scientists also, same thing. That there is one thing that needs to be known. Rest all is mere details. So what is this? What is that? Every little thing. I don't need to know. I need to know the principle. I need to know that one common underlying truth. And when we see these examples like golden ornaments, etc., we find that gold is the material cause of all the ornaments. Therefore, knowing gold, I know all the ornaments. Similarly, if I am looking for something that knowing which I can know the entire universe means, in other words, I am looking for the cause of the universe. Tasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. What is it? Knowing which. So what is the cause of this universe? Is there something, that one thing, knowing which I get to know everything? I want to know that. The very source of all these things. So this student himself has studied a little, observed a little, reflected a little, has known a few things, and then he is coming to the Guru to gain this knowledge. Tell me that one thing, the most important thing, the greatest of knowledge. That is why this knowledge in the first mantra was said to be Sarva Vidya Pratishtha, the very foundation of all knowledge. Now, one more point. In this, what does Saunaka already know? Tasminno bhagavo vijñāte sarvam idam vijñātum bhavati. So, what is that knowing which all this is known? Sarvam idam vijñātam bhavati. Now, when we say all this, sarvam idam, so which means he already knows it is not anything that can be recognized as this. Because he has already eliminated that from the question. He's already said, what is that knowing which all this becomes known? Which means what? That which, knowing which everything becomes known, cannot be recognized as this. That he already knows. Means it is not one of the objects of my experience. And when I say objects of experience, it includes the body, it includes the thoughts of the mind. Why? Because that is also the object of my experience. I know what is the state of my mind. I know what is the condition of my body. So that is also object of my experience. And here also we say this body, this mind. So this idam reference is always there. So everything including the body, mind and intellect is excluded from the question. Nothing that is the object of my experience. That is why all this becomes known. So what is it knowing which all this becomes known? So it should not be this. If it is not this, then what can it be? No? So grammatically and in the language of Vedanta, there is little difference. As per grammar, if we see, we say this. Let's say if we have to find out, what is opposite of this? So we say that. So this and that. So this means what? That which is near. And that means little away. And both are relative terms. If I go and stand there, that becomes this and this becomes that. So this and that can interchangeably be used. This can become that can become this, only based on my relative position. So this and that essentially are not two different entities. If I call something that, it is only a matter of my proximity. If I go near, then it will become this. So this and that actually belong to the same category. Both of them are objects. So from the standpoint of Vedanta, the opposite of this is I. This is an object of experience. Opposite of object of experience is the experiencer. the witness, the knower, and that is I. So, idam and aham are the two terms. So, it is not this and that, it is this and I. So, now visiting the question and finding out what does Saunaka want to know. Tasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvam idam vijñātum bhavati. What is that one knowing which all this can be known? So it is not this, then what is it? It has to be I. So where is this question going? This question means, who am I? That's all. And he also knows that knowing my true self, I will know everything. That is what is the most significant. That is why Bhagavan Raman Maharshi says that I may have the knowledge of the whole universe, but not knowing myself is as incomplete as learning to count without knowing one. So I don't know one. How will I count without one? That is the very starting point. But if I know one, then adding one to that becomes two. Adding one more to that becomes three. So the counting happens only with one. So knowing one, I know all numbers because it is there everywhere. So that is me. I am saying, what is that? Who is the self? So we find this similar type of question in so many different Upanishads. So kasminno bhagavo vijñāte sarvam idam vijñātam bhavati. What is it? What is that I, knowing whom everything, all this gets known? So if you think about this, we understand that Saunaka has not just walked out of his home and visiting the Guru for the first time and saying, okay, let's chat, tell me something about, what is Vedanta? Can you explain to me? I have 5 minutes, quickly. He was not that casual student. He was focused. He had already studied a little bit. He had some clarity, but he needed little more guidance. And that is why it is said that whatever you may have studied, you may have gained a lot of knowledge, but without the grace of the Guru, guidance of the Guru, it is not possible to know our own self. Everything else we may, but here he has come to that point where he realizes that all this knowledge I have, if he is a great prosperous householder, he must be knowledgeable also. So he had knowledge of the world, he had. Because of that only he has framed such a beautiful question with so much of clarity. He said, Kasminno bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. But that one factor, and that I know it is me. So I want to know myself. This is the request. So he comes to Angiras with humility, with readiness, as guided in the scriptures, surrenders to the Guru and asks this question to know his own self, knowing which everything of this universe will get known. Now, knowing one, everything is known. We saw in the example that it is the cause. Knowing the cause, all effects are known. So if we understand knowing the self, the whole universe is known, what does it bring us to? The self is the cause of the universe. And just knowing this much, this statement, without knowing details, without going into any hair-splitting arguments, without getting any more information also, just this much. If we know that I am the cause of this universe, will I have anything to complain about anybody or anything in the world? Because who has to be complained about? Why did I create like this? I should not have created like this. Only thing is the word I meaning has to be understood. So now I means the body, mind, intellect complex. I means the ego, the jiva. So that has to be corrected. But otherwise, my real nature, my true self, is the cause of this universe, knowing which everything gets known. So there is no scope of any complaint, any, if I have to say anything that this was not good or this is not good, I have to tell myself only. Who else will it tell? It is like, for example, we have a dream. In dream, something happens. After I wake up, I understand that there was no one else other than me. Everything was me, myself only. So if something happened wrong in the dream, who will I go to complain to? I'll wonder, why did I see such a dream? Because I only have to take responsibility, no one else. So even in the transactional world, the clarity about this question itself will solve so many problems for us. Tasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. Just knowing this much. Just knowing the question itself solves so many of our problems. So what will happen when we get the answer? So there is nothing that I can blame things on, where I waste so much of my time and energy. There is nothing to be dissatisfied, discontented about, because why? Who is responsible? And when we understand what kind of creation is this, then I understand I don't need to even take it so seriously. Sometimes knowing all these things, there may be this just a word of caution that when we say that all this is just illusion, just an appearance and all, then we say that, oh, then we don't have to do anything. Well, it's after all an appearance. Yes, we don't have to do anything. That's true. So, no, all these things don't matter. There is no rule applicable here. In a dream, if I murder someone also, I'm not a criminal because it's after all a dream. But we have to understand. According to the constitution of the dream, I am a murderer and I will be put behind bars in the dream. I have to agree to that. I cannot use the waking world theory in the dream. Till the time I am in the dream, the rules of the dream will be applicable. Only after I wake up, I will be free from all those rules. So it is not that I can do anything, it doesn't matter, there are no rules applicable. After all, this is an illusion, but illusion also has its own rules. So I have to be prepared to face the consequences of my action. I have to take responsibility even in the transactional world. Otherwise, sometimes this half-baked spirituality becomes dangerous. I say, everything, it has all come from me only. So anything I can do. And dream, Bhagwan's kripa, that we have experienced dreams which we understand that even if it is all coming from me, there are things out of my control also. One of the most common dreams is exams. I don't know why, but majority of people have seen themselves appearing for exams in the dream. And it is very interesting to note that I have only studied As far as the dream is concerned, I am the student, I am the teacher, I only set the paper, I only sit and write the exam, I only examine the paper, and I fail. How is that possible? But it happens. Now, whom to blame? So, it is happening. We have all experienced such things. So, when I understand this question of Saunaka, what is that knowing which everything else gets known? So, the very cause of this entire universe, the self, is what I want to know. Please guide me. Okay. Guru is very benevolent. He is, in fact, very, very happy that somebody is asking some good question. Otherwise, usually people who go to the Guru ask for, do you think I will get promotion this year? My daughter is not getting married. Please do something. So these are the matters we'll take to the Guru. So when Guru gets such a student who asks such question, Guru is very, very happy. Very good. Okay. He is so happy. He immediately starts instruction. So now the instruction of the Guru, and that is the whole Upanishad. So one small question in half a mantra, and the reply is the entire Upanishad. What does he say? The fourth mantra. Tasmai sahovacha द्वे विद्ये वेदितव्ये इति हस्म यत् ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति पराच एव अपराच. Now, what was the question? The question was, what is that one thing knowing which everything gets known? And what is the reply? There are two types of knowledge to be known. Dve vidye veditavye. Itiha yad brahmavidah vadanti sma. We have heard, see the humility of the Guru also. Her means we have heard, thus it has been spoken of. We have heard. So he is not saying I have the knowledge of it. He is not saying that, okay, I will give you the knowledge. He said, in the parampara we have heard, itiha, yet that which, about which, Brahma vidaha vadanti sma. The knowers of Brahman talk about this usually. And when they talk about this, I have heard. So much of humility in the Guru. Not saying that, yeah, I know. Sit down. I will teach you. I will liberate you from all this. No. Saying, yes, this has been spoken of by the knowers of Brahman, and I have heard this. What is that? There are two types of knowledge to be known. And what are these two types? Paracha eva aparacha. One is para and apara. Now it is better to use these Sanskrit terms only, because it will be explained by itself in the following mantras. So para vidya means, let us say, the higher knowledge, and apara vidya means the lower knowledge. So para vidya, apara vidya, these are the two knowledges, if we have to say, that have to be known. Dve vidya veditavye. That can be known, that have to be known. The higher and the lower. Paracha eva aparacha. So now we may say that what is he asking and what is the Guru saying now? What is this? He should say, it is the self, knowing which you know everything. Over. Class over. Upanishad ended. That is what he should educate. Because we are all Vedantis. We have studied Vedanta. So we'll say, what this Guru doesn't know how to teach also. He should just say it is Brahman. I know it already. So as a student, I know it. And the Guru is saying that you have to know two things, higher knowledge and lower knowledge. What is this? It is very different from what the question has been asked. But all our scriptures, all these various gurus of all these Upanishads, etc., the rishis, their compassion is so much. And because of that, they will not directly give an answer. Is compassion. Why? Because if they give any direct answer, they know we will misunderstand. We won't be able to get the right thing. We will misinterpret, misunderstand. So, if I understand that to be something else, even if that knowledge has been imparted, if I understand it to be something else, still I am ignorant only with a little more information, that's all. Informed, ignorant. I am as foolish as I was before with little more information, with a degree. That's all. So, these acharyas, these scriptures, out of compassion, they feel there has to be clarity to understand. If I say it is the self means what, and for that there has to be clarity on what it is not. It is only when we eliminate what it is not will the real subject matter become clear to us. Otherwise, I might just misunderstand it to be something else that I am familiar with. So as soon as you say, you are that, oh, I know, okay. Okay, thank you, Guru. I already knew, I just needed a confirmation from you. Okay, thank you. Then I say, I am the cause of this universe. I have created. I only sustain. I am the most powerful. Whatever I do, I can do. This, that. Complete misunderstanding. And this is what happened also in one of the Upanishads. The story is there, where one out of the two disciples was very satisfied knowing that this body is the Atman, this body is the self, this body is my true identity, and goes back and started a cult. Eat, drink, and be merry. After all, this body is the Atman. And that cult, even till date, it continues from the Upanishadic times. They are called asuras. And the word asura means, because we may laugh, but then the meaning of the word asura will be applicable to us also. Asushu ramate iti asura. The one who revels in the sense pleasures is called asura. So it is not someone, with two teeth coming out, with some weapons and looking very, not just, can be well educated, well dressed, but reveling in sense pleasure. Why? Because considering one's own real identity to be this body. So one who considers this body is me is called asura only. We are a part of that cult only. No, I don't want to be called asura. Then we should gain this knowledge. So here, direct instruction cannot happen, because there are so many preconceived notions. Already I am identified with things that I am not, like the body, mind, etc. Now, if anything is said as you or I or any such pronoun is used, now pronoun is called only sarvanam. It can be used for anything. So I can interpret the way I understand. So first, elimination of what it is not is necessary, so that what it really is will be clear to us. Otherwise, our intellect may settle in any place saying that, yes, I have understood. And if the intellect says, I have understood, it is the evidence that it has not been understood, because it is not the object of the intellect. So that is why the Guru is starting from Dve Vidye Veditavye. Two knowledges have to be known. Two kinds of knowledge. And what is that? Paravidya, the higher, and Aparavidya, the lower. They have to be known. Achha. Now, what are these Paravidya, Aparavidya? What are these two types of knowledge? So he is enlisting. Now, this is very, very interesting. What are these two types of knowledge? So, see, he said para cha eva apara cha. When he talked about the two, he first mentioned para, then he said apara. First he mentioned higher, then he said lower. But when he is enumerating, he is first enumerating the lower, then going to what is higher. Why? Because elimination is required first. And it will happen. All this will be elaborated further. So now he is saying in the fifth mantra, Tatra apara Rigvedo Yajurvedaha Samavedo Atharvavedaha Shiksha Kalpaha Vyakaranam Niruktam Chando Jyotishamiti Athapara Yaya Tadaksharam Adhigamyate. Tatra apara. Now, first, the lower knowledge. What is it? List. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda. And when we say a Veda, Upaveda included. So, Upaveda means the Ayurveda, Gandharva, Dhanurveda, Gandharveda, Sthapatya Veda, all that. So, four Vedas. What is that? Lower knowledge. Aparavidya. Oh, then Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chando, Jyotisham. All these are called limbs of the Veda, Vedangas. Understanding this will help us understand Veda better. So these six limbs of Veda, Vedangas. So all Vedas, Vedangas, all this is what? Lower knowledge, Aparavidya. Oh, where is Mundakopanishad? Where is Mundakopanishad? Atharva Veda. Where is Atharva Veda in this list? Aparavidya. So you are teaching us Aparavidya. So this is lower knowledge. That's what the mantra says very clearly. This is Aparavidya only. All four Vedas and the six Vedangas, everything is lower. And Veda includes Vedanta also. Vedanta means what? It's the culmination of the Vedas. It is the knowledge portion of the Vedas, Upanishad. That also is included in the Veda only. It is not outside of the Veda. Big question raised. Does that mean the knowledge of the self is not in the Veda? No, it is in the Veda only. And if it is in the Veda, then it is lower knowledge. So there is something other than higher than the knowledge of the Upanishad? No, there is nothing higher than the knowledge. This confusion. On one side, you say this is the highest, and on the other side, it is listed under lower. What does that mean? Another major question is that if these are lower knowledge, then whatever be the higher knowledge, okay. Okay, we are not attached to these words of Upanishads and all, no problem. But whatever be the higher knowledge, is it outside of the Veda? And if it is outside of the Veda, then can it be considered as the valid means? Because what is a valid means of knowledge? Of self-knowledge especially? Veda. A Veda which is the valid means of self-knowledge. Now what you are saying, calling as the higher knowledge, you are saying, you have listed it outside of the Veda, different from Veda. So it is not valid only. And how can something other than Veda be the higher knowledge? We always consider Veda to be the highest. What is this? These gurus and all, why are they confusing us so much? The point is, whenever we say, for example, we say, we are going to study Mundakopanishad. Okay, we are going to study Mundakopanishad. Very good. Okay, then what do we say? We have to get books. Huh? Which books you want to get? Mundakopanishad books. Then we say, do you have a copy of the Mundakopanishad book? Yes, 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 I have Mundakopanishad. I have. Gurudev has signed in my copy. I have my copy. I have my Mundakopanishad. You have? Yes, you also get one copy of Mundakopanishad. So now, what is Mundakopanishad? Book. That is lower knowledge only. Otherwise, where is this question? The student asked, Kasminnu Bhagavo Vijñate Sarvamidam Vijñate. Where is this question? I am just not able to recollect. Oh, yesterday only in the class we studied. It is in Mundakopanishad. Oh, yeah, this is Mundakopanishad question. This is lower knowledge. The words, the meaning of the words, all these mantras that we are able to chant, we are trying to analyze and understand at the level of the intellect, try to digest it. All this is apara vidya. Lower rungs of the ladder. Apara does not mean something that is useless. If we have to go to the terrace, I have to start climbing, and for climbing, if I only have the last 5 steps and down there is nothing, how will I climb? I have to have the lower steps. Only then slowly I start climbing, and then there is a higher steps, and then finally I reach the terrace. So I need. So here the lower knowledge is these words, the mantra rashi. So how it is being imparted? For imparting of knowledge, you need words. Words serve as a medium, although the knowledge is beyond words. But words do serve as a medium. When somebody, poetry. Poetry is what? Words. But what is it conveying? Emotions. And emotions are beyond words. But still, it is a medium to convey emotion. And when somebody is tuned to that poet's mind and the words are understood in the right way, then it is not the words, it is not the meaning of the words, but it is the deeper emotion that is communicated or expressed through those words that one understands, and then say, I understood this poem. So that the main thing is not the word and their meaning. So here, when he is saying Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharveda, and Shiksha, Vyakarana, Chanda, Kalpa, Jyotisha, all these things are the various limbs of knowledge, different mantras, texts, words, meanings, Instructions, dialogues, communication, all these things is lower knowledge. All that happens in the level of our senses, mind, intellect, all this is aparavidya. And what is paravidya? He says athapara. Beautiful. He says once you know what is apara, athapara, now you will know what is para. Till that time you will not know what is para, because even if I say that first, there is scope of misunderstanding. Therefore, first let me eliminate. So the Guru is so compassionate. He's saying, first let me tell you what is aparavidya. All this is aparavidya. So everything is, now my mind is blank. So everything is eliminated, there is nothing left. Then what is para? Atha para. Now I will tell you what is the higher knowledge. And what is that? Yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. Beautiful definition. What is this higher knowledge? Paravidya means what? Yaya, by which tad aksharam, that imperishable, indestructible self or Brahman, adhigamyate, is not just understood, because if we say adhigama means the word meaning is understanding, but actually what it means is attainment. So, through which that aksharam, that imperishable Brahman is gained, is called paravidya. Oh, but we thought that studying of Upanishad only is a means to gain that akshara Brahma. So, how do you gain Brahma Vidya? Study Upanishad. This is what we have been always thinking about. This is what we thought is the right way. How to gain Brahma Vidya? Study Upanishad. But study of Upanishad does not guarantee knowledge of Brahman. There are so many who study Upanishad, but not necessarily know Brahman. Knowledge of Brahman is totally different. Knowing oneself is totally different from reading or studying about oneself. So there is a difference between knowing about the self and knowing the self. So what is happening in this, all this that is listed as lower knowledge, apara vidya, is I am knowing about myself. But what is paravidya? By which I know myself. And here, knowing does not mean in the conventional terms that we use the intellect to objectify something. It is not an object knowledge. Here, knowing means subjectively knowing it is me as my inner self. That realization, it is an experiential knowledge or direct knowledge. Direct does not mean through the senses. Direct means even without the senses, the mind, intellect interfering, it is so direct that there is not even, these instruments are also not participating in that. They are also not in between. It is so direct. So that kind of experiential knowledge, that knowledge is called paravidya. Yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. We are able to reach that. So all this study is good, aparavidya, and it is important also. It is inevitable also. It is necessary also, no doubt about it. But this does not ensure knowing of the self. Knowing of the self is completely different. Studying of a book does not ensure knowledge of the self. So that's why we may know the mantras by heart, we may know bhashya, tika, everything. We may have studied so much, we may have even memorized everything. All that is fine. But do I know myself? That is a totally different thing. That is not even in the same category. Bhagavan Raman Maharshi did not have any formal education, but he got the higher knowledge. And what he said became a scripture. So that is the greatness. So yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. That by which this self, which is being inquired upon. What is the question? Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. So knowing which, everything gets known. Knowing which, what is that? To know that is the higher knowledge. That is paravidya. Rest all is aparavidya. So I say, what is the nature of the self? Nature of the self is of existence, consciousness, bliss. I know it very well. Satchidananda Swarupa Brahma. Oh, very good. Aparavidya. But I'm talking about the self. Yes, you're talking about the self. It is therefore aparavidya. Because one cannot talk the self. It is beyond expression, beyond words. So, yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. Now, the question may be, tadaksharam, that imperishable is known. So, what is that imperishable? Tadaksharam, you never talked about that. So, he's saying, yes, I will tell you. So, the next mantra talks about what is that aksharam, which is known through this paravidya that is talked about. So paravidya is knowing that aksharam. And what is that aksharam? What is that imperishable? So that is now next mantra we'll talk about. And after that, the journey of this entire Upanishad is so beautiful. It starts at a point, full journey, and then finally reaches. Now I know. Beautiful. We'll take that journey tomorrow onwards. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ